Hey, so thank you for attending today's webinar. We are going to discuss about Agentic AI healthcare knowledge orchestration framework. So I will start from slide mode. We're going to touch five big topics. So first one will be the healthcare knowledge management challenges. And we are going to talk about Agentic AI orchestration framework. And we are going to look at the use case ecosystem, and we are going to talk about opportunity discovery for agentic AI orchestration framework. And finally, we introduce MVP development and live demos. So first part is a basic, fundamental introduction. So in healthcare, what is meant by knowledge crisis? So the explosion of healthcare data is known now. So you can look at the hospitals, research institutions, even biotech and other medical tech firms generating huge amount of data from EHRs, genomics, imaging, and clinical trials. But yet most of this information remain just to sit there as it is and then never utilize. So they are all separate system not integrated and inaccessible to the decision maker who need it most. So, for example, that 75% of data remain unused. So, here is a way we talk about digital transformation, including in healthcare ecosystem. But majority of healthcare data is never analyzed or applied in real-world case or R&D decisions. So this inefficiency leads to duplicate efforts, slower innovation, and missed insight that could improve patient outcomes. So information is not just mean intelligence. So healthcare system often kind of like a huge amount of data, but they can be include knowledge, but they're not used. So they are not structured reasoning and context. Data alone cannot generate actionable insight or explainable decision. So we need something others. And so human cognitive overload. So clinicians and researchers cannot manually review and synthesize a massive volume of incoming data streams. So the gap between what's available and what can be cognitively processed continue to widen. Having said that, so this is more to elaborate, kind of like what the fragmentation of data and systems and manual synthesis overload and compliance complexity and limited institutional memory and AI without context is the current challenges we have. So I already shared this presentation in chat or through my LinkedIn profile, so you can look at detail. So I will skim over, only touch the essential part, especially I will focus on demos and how to develop. So currently you may have similar type of the similar solutions that I'm going to talk about today. And this is most representative solution that I hear, but that there are other type of the solutions available. So, and here is Epic is one of the famous EHR integrator. So they already have AI in and EHR, and they can utilize the EHR data system, but there is a still is only limited to EHR. So there are the multi-institutional or regulatory context it cannot be connected yet. And Google has DeepMind or the other solutions available, but still some part they are not like to address all the challenges we have. So that's why I introduced Agentic AI orchestration framework. So this topic actually, I work with several clients for different aspect with respect to data management. So recently, I have some chance to have my client to manage the huge amount of data produced in clinical trial utilizing agentic AI, something like that. This topic is familiar to me to how to handle data in healthcare ecosystem. But this is the another thing that not just the manage of the data, but actually how you get the insight. So it is above that just the intelligent data management, but also like how to utilize data, and then you get the knowledge from this data analysis, data insight. So I call it a kind of agentic orchestration framework. So it's more than kind of like data management is kind of like the knowledge management through agentic in a smart way. So it orchestrate the data layer and other layer to you get the like maximum use of the healthcare knowledge from your data set. So so limitation of a traditional AI, so you know that's everything, right? So the agentic AI is a basic, is perceive, reason, remember, use to act, and govern is a basic things you can think about it. So it can be applied in any kind of like vertical industry or application based on these fundamental cognitive functions. Right? And then it depending on the which area you are applying these six cores. For example, if you look at as a healthcare context, and perceive means understand a pure clinical context by pulling data from EHR and lab system sensors and readers and something like that. And reason means analyze the symptoms, diagnostics, and treatment evidence to draw logical, explainable conclusions. And the reminder is a retain validated insight. So patient trend, outcome, and regulatory rulings for continuity of care. And use tools connect securely to APIs, hospital database, analytic engine to perform real operations. That's the way actually that you can the connect in-house data and also like outside data through this API. And act is autonomously execute. It's more than kind of like automation. It's autonomous. So it's autonomously execute define actions such as generation report, cross-checking orders, trigger a lot, and govern the self-regulate within HIPAA, FDA, so they know about the compliance and institutional guideline and maintaining transparency and traceability. So, so having with that kind of like core function and the healthcare context. So you have a several layers actually that utilizing functions to manage your data set, connect to them, and then elaborate them, and then extract insight, and then share the knowledge, something like that. So the first one is to kind of like knowledge ingestion and integration. So connect, harmonize clinical research and regulatory data from disparate system and then integrate with like interoperability scheme like this. So it's some technical things you can look at it later. And then the particular technology that we utilizing is a current state of art is a lag. So it's an enhanced reasoning core, right? It's a retrieval or augmented like generative kind of scheme that is the fundamental the technology that the current state of art utilizing in relation to like reasoning, utilizing data sets. So combines factual retrieval with the generative reasoning to ensure output transparent and verifiable. And also, like, there is a very importantly agentic intelligence layer. So, a network of domain-specific agents. So it's a multi-agent system. And they are specific function low, that they collaborate seamlessly to solve complex cross-function challenges. This is a key design factor that you can utilize in multiple different task agent for your purpose. And adaptive learning and governance is kind of like adaptive iterative learning, self-learning, and then you have oversight by for example, like a human co-pilot, and then oversight for the some mistake and hallucination, bias, and other kind of ethnical stuff. And also, and they through the kind of like a feedback loop, they continuously learn and then continuous intelligence cycle. So data, knowledge, action, learning, improvement is it's kind of like a self-learning and feedback loop. Okay, so let's look at the use case. What kind of knowledge management can be done by this agentic AI framework? So first one is this isn't actually we did. So I have a business partner actually implementing. They are technically specialized in agentic AI implementation. So I collaborate with them. I just mostly I working in like a healthcare insight, and the design is my role, and then actual implementation is my partner. So we will have developed and with the client. So for this kind of the client, actually, we built up like it's a the regional healthcare network. So it's kind of like some regional healthcare network with 12 hospital and more than 200 clinic. And then what they're the struggling challenges is to centralize medical knowledge. And because of they have a huge amount of the data through this different type of the hospital and clinic and huge number of the professional working together, but they are not utilizing centralized knowledge database. So so instant access to so any clinicians or any professionals in this network can access the centralized knowledge database. So that was a goal. So to provide them kind of like to across facilities, they have a database to integrate and the knowledge base and then utilizing agentic AI to provide insight, whatever they have some kind of like use of the knowledge. So I will show a demo later about what I mean by this. And the solution is using a occasion for with clinical research assistant. So for example, that connect all EHR and research repositories to integrate. So all the data is available. All the data generated through this clinical operation is integrated and then ready to use. And then this the AI orchestration framework tree that oversight all data, and then whenever their users inquiry about some specific knowledge, they provide, they search and then get inside and then provide. So through this one, actually, we got 75% fast access to relevant information. So find out the relevant information on the issue, but how to fast to look at it is another issue. So it's a 75 faster and then 25% reduction in time to develop new treatment protocols, and high physician satisfaction and improve the interdisciplinary collaboration, and enhance the teaching capability for residents through the embedded evidence summary. So I'll show you a demo and what I mean by this. And another area that in a similar scheme that utilizing is we found that is kind of like some clinical trial case. So this is one thing that this is not actually we have a client actually. This is a potential area we are looking for that the client in clinical trials and utilizing our agentic AI orchestration framework to solve their some challenges. So challenges, it's up to the client, right? So it can be changing. So this is one example. So, just as for example, that their challenge is a mid-sized biotech sponsor. and managing five phase two oncology trial phase, constant protocol amendment, and manual compliance tracking. So each update delayed in normal by weeks. So this is the one thing that in clinical trials generate huge bunch of the data set. Also, like they utilize using database, and then they can integrate and then utilizing orchestration. This is the same basic idea that applied in the healthcare organization management case. So the solution is a different multi-agent trial intelligence system. So protocol design agent can battle the endpoint against the racist FDA oncology guidance. And eligibility agent integrate live EHR data to optimize recruitment. And regulatory agent generates a system report online with 21 CFR Part 11, something like that. So you can see the trial setup, and then there is a lot of the potential results impact. So this is actually I identify that in the ecosystem of the healthcare life science that the needed huge generate huge of data, and that they should be integrated and then and require some knowledge management. So and another challenging maybe that kind of like the compliance, right? Because the FDA clearance or kind of like some other ISO or the HIPAA in the security. The compliance is another way actually that you can utilizing in-house data and outside data to comply. So you can look at it later about the detail. And other area is to the kind of is hospital operation, right? So hospital operation also require a lot of the data set should be handled through their operation. So, for example, this case is a 500-bed hospital, right? Manual spreadsheet for quality tracking, leading to delayed response to the Center of the Medical and Medicaid service. And this is one in the you need to comply and you need to provide some compliance report to operate your hospital. So this is another way, creator, you can hand this one autonomous way to utilizing the our framework. And then even they can apply to precision personal medicine and the population health and R&D innovation exploration type, and also like digital effective patient engagement, and also medical education training and longevity intelligence ecosystem, something like that. I will show you a few demos among this ecosystem. So you will get a sense that what I mean by this knowledge management with respect to this different type of the application. And then because because knowledge management means very diverse. So it depending on what you really have some difficulty to handle your data and knowledge. And then so it very kind of like customizable, right? It can be yeah, it's a goal is maybe the more universal framework that actually can provide you, and then based on your challenges you can set like a no code platform and then solving the problem, and then you can design it and implement it. That a goal, but there are so many complicated ways actually the data available and complicated and the diverse application. Have in mind that the currently we just provide and customizing design and development. But anyway, in generally, then how you get the opportunity to utilizing agentic AI orchestration framework. So if you have an institution or you have this kind of the like the things that you have in mind, and then you can try this agentic AI framework. So so generally is undergoing left research. So agentic provide fundamentally different approaches. So for example, that the first one is to core diagnostic questions. So do I need this kind of thing, right? If you have a challenge in have in mind, and you understand that this might be solved by the agentic AI, that's good. But otherwise, and then you think about the internally to innovate the way to handling your knowledge is something like that you're in charge of that, or that you want to improve your system to adopt this one. And then this is something, the guideline. You can look at it. So our starting point is to, well, do we have abundant data? So we have a data, but we actually, we are not much to have an insight, have used them for your proposed, right? Operation or the knowledge or the treatment, whatever that you propose, right? So across hospitals and research centers, biotech firms and digital health platform, and best information is available, right? But the human ability is interpreting synthesize electronics is very complicated, so you cannot handle everything in the manually. So this is a good price. So you can apply agentic AI. And so I just provide a six dimension of identifying agentic AI opportunity based on this kind of use case ecosystem. So dimension is fragmented knowledge and data silos, right? So this is for example, the data lives in isolation domain, EHR research database, billing system, regulatory repository. So you are not consistent integrate database system even in-house in your organization or outside the database you want to utilize, right? And then it's a kind of like agentic AI provider solution. So I recommended you to look at all things so you can find out. Okay, so how to develop. So this is one actually that we providing. So I have a business partner with expert having experience this kind of implementation, and I also have a very good experience about design this kind of agentic AI framework. So we integrate force together to deliver this service to whoever need our expertise. So, we actually doing it as scoping. So in the phase one opportunity definitions, through the like consulting that the striking use where agent can deliver many measurable value in 3 to 6 months. So we can identify sort of discretion and then in like look at the whole the detail about the hospital operation or other thing that we look at it and then get the insight and then design it. So so we have a very measurable kind of like the alpha can deliver. So use case, the KPI and system data inventory. And the second thing is to based on design idea that the POC. So identity architecture design that this is my law. So I have a lot of the experience doing this kind of similar thing for different type of the identity applications. So with the designing through the like a client contact and then what is the best the POC can be implemented. And then finally that I pass over to my implementing expert that actually that they have intensive experience in different type of the body. Actually, today I'm going to focus on the healthcare, but actually the knowledge is in all vertical. So so for me, that I have another layer of the expertise in other areas. I'm a patent attorney and IP expert and legal. I'm an attorney, so it can be equally applied to legal knowledge management. So I'm going to have another webinar about focus on legal knowledge management, like contract litigation, other things, and everyday task practice of the in the law firm or the legal institution. And also other kind of like, for example, finance, like investment firm and other kind of financial knowledge required. So it's the same thing, like there is huge amount of data and the silos never utilizing, and that there are a lot of the like information can be utilized for the insight, and then it can be applied this framework. So MVP is usually that prototype implementation. So and then and then and the real world validation is the next step. So actually to implement and then test it. And then also in case that actually that require the more like a scalable way to actually you want to do that. And then we have another layer of the export to like a commercial level kind of implementation is available. So we just cross over kind of like from the scratch and design and POC and MVP. And then if required, then and there is a custom phase to in the scale up to kind of like more customizable and also like a commercial level. And also, so I will show you the live demo and then we have a Q&A. So you will have a sense that I want to discuss with you is kind of like other area that we can apply this agentic AI have a benefit, right? That's one I desperately want hear from you. Then I want to get your comment and your insight. So the demo will show live. So it's the first one is the Agentic AI for the connected healthcare knowledge ecosystem. So I just use ChatGPT showcase the best snapshot what I mean by this knowledge management. So for this case is connected has knowledge ecosystem is real-time multi-agent orchestration system that turns fragmented healthcare data is explainable, actionable intelligence. So I will show you some through this framework of play through the six intelligence state, and then it'll give you some examples. So you will have a sense that what I mean by this. And also like in the second one, I will show some what is mean by the R&D innovation exploration. So it'll be utilizing in the laboratory, like biopharma or the medical device kind of R&D laboratory. They can utilize this one, and then they can be integrated with kind of like a knowledge base, and usually the IP is related to R&D. So utilizing that R&D research, and then we connect with the idea of the invention. So it'll be like lead into like a pattern drafting application layer that link with that. So you will sense about what we might this. And also longevity is one of the area actually that I recently have interested in. So next week I'm going to have I have a one publication that I invited by some magazine. So how to agentic AI can be utilizing in the longevity kind of like a science. And this is a one example then utilizing this agentic AI to contribute like a longevity intelligence ecosystem. So you will sense what I mean by this one. So I will just give you some very like graphic representation of the all things we talk about. So you will look at it like what is agentic core intelligence and then also like I show that how to develop the opportunity. So how you can find out the area actually anything AI question frame can apply. And also like agentic MVP in action. So how to develop in the all stage explain. And this is our tech spec. So as I mentioned, we have a expert group already have a lot of experience in applying this kind of technology to in the different area. So they are very expertise in all aspects of the like software engineering, IT stack, and the cloud and everything. So we can provide our expertise when needed. Okay, so we are now fulfilling design construction for MVP development for healthcare and life sciences. So anyone to want to see this, explore this opportunity, and just to let me know. Okay, so I will start my demo. Okay, so I just launched this morning, so we can start very quickly. So this first one is the Agentic AF, how the connected healthcare ecosystem demo. So you will see that the first one is the scenario because this is knowledge management, right? Because this is assume that you have this interface, right? So we already developed with you, we have this interface, and how you use this kind of like a framework, right? So that I mentioned that. To be. I've been staring at you for hours. Let me see whoosh. Made this noise. Okay, the first one is to, for example, as I mentioned in the first use case, actually, it integrate all the in-house kind of like the hospital and clinic systems database. So you know about everything you have done before, all data and treatment, everything, right? And then you have a kind of like some specific scenario that you want to understand, right? So it gives you some example, like for example, that you're interesting your patient, kind of like your patient is a 50, 80-year-old man. So you interact with your the platform that implementing this framework that utilizing knowledge database. So it tried to find out, for example, you understand your patient, the current situation, and then goal is to find the list of ADA aligned treatment recommendation and check formularity alignment. And there are a bunch of the different scenarios you can use it. And then also, for example, heart failure and reduced rejection fraction, right? And oncology clinical trial support and hospital antibiotics fellowship. And so many different type of the integrating your database to get the knowledge and then you understand it. So it guide you that what kind of thing you scenario you wanted to understand, right? This is processional stage, and then for example that I will just select just one, right? So it kind of like to understand the user intent, right? And then it look at the data, right? And then what kind of like available data is there, and then with the synthesized data, right? And then knowledge graph, and then it try find out the what is the best answer to your question, and then it show the process, right? It show everything that reasoning process, so it is very explainable, right? Not black box. Then showing the relation between the lab's treatment and guidelines, it give you the reasoning, and then so. And then for example, I say yeah, and then it show you that all explain about the all reasoning space. So it understands patient profile, diagnostics, and medication and everything, really. And then explainable link path here, right? And then retrieve the patient history thing. And then it'll be like compliance with the privacy. And then try to understand the patient record. And then I wanna do evidence retrieval. So actually treatment recommendation. So for this particular patient, it integrate every knowledge base and try to find out the best treatment solution. So it can be give you kind of like some of like a recommendation. So it give you knowledge. This is the one actually you're looking for knowledge. So this is one you request knowledge. So it give you some knowledge about the clinical decision support summary. So it give you recommendation. So it give you like for example that human oversight. So you are in the loop and you will be co-filer, and then it'll give you the feedback and whatever that human access to leave you that to be comply with the ethnical part, whatever. did it. So human of side, you can collab co-file with it. Right? So it give you like a generate a visual dashboard summary. So it give you based on your use case scenario that it give you the best answer. So it give you a reasoning. So it is just a showcase. So it can be depending on your what kind of your proposal and something like that. But it give you the how to utilizing your database, integrate, and then extract knowledge for your proposal. Okay, so next one is R&D that I mentioned. So in this case, that so it kind of like a research scenario. So for example, you are biopharma, so drug discovery or biomedical engineering, or the kind of like some uh biomedical, bioscience, biotechnology, and pharma formulation optimization. So there are huge, like a different type of the scenario you can have it. So, for example, you're in the pharma, and then you want to link with the drug discovery, right? For example. So utilizing your existing data set about the drug discovery, and also like outside the literature, whatever needed, and then also like a patent. So cross-lab knowledge graph to show you, and then show. So you're looking at the whole the available knowledge base. So street lab node, right? And confound nodes and all things in knowledge base as a node. And then it utilizing them, integrate them. So and then more than continue to duplicate detection whether the scheme to directly novel reasoning. So skip and then go to novel reasoning. And then it tried to have a whether it's a kind of like a new invention. And then as it try to link with the priority, if you have experience like drafting your pattern, you have a like inventor, then you understand like starting from idea that they call like a invention disclosure, right? And the engineering note, and then you find out that is whether it's a patentable, and then the first task is this is a new and genuine, right? So you need to find out that is there any other work before you, right? They go prior art, and then it try to do look at the what the available scientific kind of like a literature, PubMed, or the USP for other patent database, and then your internal database, and then try find out the Nobel Genesis summary, something like that, right? And then and then it can generate like the apply you can apply this one to USPD or other kind of like jurisdiction you're in, right? And then and then human experts like me, I'm a patent artist, so maybe I can or other patent engineer or the you have experience and you can oversight, and then it give you some the R&D innovation. It provide you kind of like whether it's inventable and then it can be applied, something like that. It give you help you to boost your innovation, embrace your IP generation. Okay, so finally, I will show demo for the longevity. So So this is a one is kind of like a transform fragmented genetic method because in the longevity you know like a huge amount of data recently that the biomarkers to longevity to analyze this huge amount of data, so they call multimodal data and the multi-omic data. So integrate multi-omic data and then it provides just two-way simulation to predict biological aging trajectory and simulate what if lifestyle over therapeutic intervention all with the scientific traceability. So you have here to find out that the utilizing your data and then establish digital twin and then applying the through this digital twins to find out predict the biological aging trajectory and simulation. So it depending on how you design it, right? So this is just one example. So the six intelligence states like a patient scenario input, multi-omic data, and then biological age and the intervention, something like that, right? So in first is the procession stage, a patient scenario input, right? So for example, it'll give you like this is kind of like a longevity clinic operation something. So you have a patient, and you understand that, for example, the metabolic resilience case, a 47-year-old female exactly with mild metabolic things, and you like try to do find out how to like to increasing her lifespan or something like that. So it have you to it's very similar to the hospital case, but it focus on longevity clinic, right? So it for example that for different type of scenario, it try to integrate all knowledge base and then try to provide the best recommendation, right? So it understand the input patient and the what the current status and what kind of data available for this case. And then what is the objective to look at data and then synthesize of the knowledge and then look at the multi-omic data ingestion normalization kind and then go to directory to step three. And then in the biological age modeling and digital twin creation. So consider integrate biological aging model and then provide whole details and also like simulate the based on all the data set about you, right? Digital twin is a digital replica of your some function, specialty, physics, whatever, right? So what kind of like this is the one with longevity. So it will be simulate for like the your measure your biological age. So it simulate you with respect to age, right? A digital twin is representing your like a lifespan, right? And then and try to do apply that in the data set and then try to find out what the best recommendation for you to increase your lifespan, right? So then go to skip and then personalized one. And then uh kind of like show age reversal trajectory animation or something like that, and then go to about the human kind of like interpretation, and then it'll give you the finalized, summarized, or you have it. So it'll give you to end-to-end summary. So and then it give you like a personalized longevity plan optimized for stress recovery. So it give you the kind of like to increase your lifespan, what's the best way for specific for your condition. So, and then it will be like expect readers through to follow this recommendation. So this is one actually just shows the snapshot. So you see that everything is to kind of like throw the like knowledge-based data and integrate and synthesize and extract them and utilizing AI, multiple functions, and then understand and then try the best answer to you for your knowledge question. This is all thing that I present today. Okay, so we have a plenty of time, so that I really want to hear from you about your insight or comment, whatever, to relate this topic, right? Anyone to share your like insight, comment, anything, and particularly the use case that you think about it will be available for this kind of framework. Randy, do you have anything? Anyone?
Hi, I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the presentation. I think it's great work, and no question, the AI is much needed in healthcare. One of the things that I realized is the funding limitation, perhaps, that the hospitals may face when they want to implement such projects. So, and the landscape, financial landscape for the hospitals are very different. And so I guess what was your experience like with working with the hospitals, health systems that are interested in bringing AI into their operation, but they had some funding issues, or are they eager to implement these and the funding is not an issue? So what has been your experience in that
Oh,
regard,
that's I
specifically
think
with
that
the
that's
health
a
system?
very, very, very important question, right? And also I always like to figure out, because we only have one case, right? And then from the internal needs, right? There's a like there's a hospital network with kind of the big hospital clinics integrate, right? And then internally needs for the like for example the internally the with the staff members other kind of like the professionals has need of I know that there are several other kind of like existing solution maybe provide a similar function, right? Because I think that for the oncology you know about the IBM tried before the fail, something like that. So that's unfortunately internal needs, and then so the only thing is to how to customize and then within the like operation budget to implement, right? Because we are very flexible, right? We are not like a big company type to fix kind of like so we are not kind of like a very like a rigid form of the company. We are the including me and other people they are all like a freelancer type. They are all expertise in their field. Like me, I have 30 years in technology, so I understand every aspect of the implementation before. So we at this time we are very flexible and then we want to do more cases, right? So we just fit into the within budget of the client actually the request. But I really like to do I want to expand this to the other type of the like the ecosystem member, right? And then I think that your question is very relevant, right? Because whether kind of like it's always benefit and cost, right? So the without any internal needs, for example, the internally there is some reader, then and then the reader understand AI application and very useful, and then we can like quantify, right? Because as you see that we quantify what is the cost reduction, what is the benefit, and quantify as a measurable value. But even with that, right? Because unless, for example, that through this one you have the increase your revenue if you're private sector, or you increase your funds through the like a public sector, whatever, right? Any kind of like the right away measurable, monetizable the kind of like a benefit. And then there was just some time actually that I need to, that's my role as promote this one and then organize webinar and then invite people that make them to feel that this is really beneficial for the or like implementing in their organization or whatever, right? So my strategy is to really figure out that first is to who might be most get the value from this implementation, right? And then whether we can really provide measurable, quantifiable, monetizable result, right? That will be the another endeavor we need to do. And then I think that we can do because I have edu told you that we have another layer of the application is a financial matter. And for me personally, I have a lot of experience in the investment side. So the measurable like evaluation, measurable like output that can be like the providable and then but the most important thing is to the like a consensus with the kind of people to actually adopt this one, right? So that's one maybe education or the aggressive promotion or whatever, right? But that's one actually I really wanted to know, right? But I think that's a very, very great question that I'm going to talk about with other people and then communicate with them. But if fortunately, then maybe we can find out some way to like subside that kind of like a cost factors. I need to learn more and then I need to learn through some interaction and experience. But anyway, because that's a good question, I'm going to think about it carefully and in a deep level.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I asked the question having worked on the hospital side for more than I guess close to 15 years now. That
Hmm.
what you brought up, like what's the cost, what's the benefit, and they will want to see something that it is quantifiable and financially, is it gonna make it more
Hmm.
efficient, or is it gonna help with the revenue? And
Hmm.
it will come down to that. And of course, there's no question on the value, but unfortunately, given the tight budgets,
Hmm.
it usually that cost benefit becomes a huge component to it.
Yeah. So basically my philosophy is that if you have been my previous webinars, actually I always talk about co-filer and then I'm not going to ready-made product to provide, right? So and the most best policy to me is to let the party to implement this one experience and then actually he is a part of the design, right? So for example that I'm now planning that I'm teaching at Johns Hopkins in the course, and the next semester course is to actually I want to let other people they are professional in their each field of healthcare life science, and then I'd like to teach them how to utilizing AI as their co-filer and then solve their problem, right? And through this kind of kind of like a their interaction, right? Utilizing AI, then they can see the benefit better than me, right? So that's one another thing that I'm trying to do. But anyway, because that's a very, very valuable question. I will think about it. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Randy, do you have anything?
I just am having some technical difficulties with my camera. I'm not sure why, but I
I
guess
can
for the
hear you,
que
so yeah.
I guess for the question though, I just said that if you could enter some type of partnership with the hospital
Mm-hmm.
and just to get an idea of like what areas they want to see progress with, figure out which one is the most achievable,
Mm-hmm.
and that way then you can establish value and possibly work on a more complex project that might be more difficult to resolve for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because
that's
sometimes,
one
yeah,
actually that I call for
hospitals are hard to work
invitation.
with though,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes, depending on like
So
how much money they have available.
yeah, so that's one very good idea. So I'll call for invitation that please invite me to your institution that let's have some educational session, right? And then have several stakeholders are interested in implement this one, and then maybe we can like discuss further and then in a personal level understand your situation and the budget and what kind of benefit you're looking for, right? And then
Yeah.
I really want to do that, right? Because I want to expand this one to because this is really useful, right? Because I found that like the 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 data set is available out there, human, right? And then you can extract a lot of the very good knowledge through integration of this knowledge base with this agentic AI, right? So it can be expanded. It be very, very beneficial to healthcare ecosystem, right? So
Yes.
I really want to interact with the parties, actually in the stakeholders like hospital or the research laboratory or clinical trial institution, whoever, right? And then I want to have a time to like interact with them and then understand each other, right? Your needs, what you need, and then how can I provide in a smart way, right? So I
Sure.
call for to participate of the invite to me to if you're interested, and then I'm willing to be your praise, and then I discuss with the stakeholders and get the best idea to actually implement in your institution.
Well, hopefully I can find some stakeholders for you, Alex.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Randy. Yeah.
But yeah, with your high level expertise, Alex, you could just look at something from the hospital and
Mm-hmm.
figure out which are the easiest problems to
Mm-hmm.
resolve versus most complicated ones.
And then in other case, even if it's not just for the big hospital, because for example that I heard that in one of the use case I didn't look at it was a small like a clinic like the specialized clinic like mental health clinic, right? And then for the one of the use case is that because of the in the mental health clinic or whatever the very specialized clinic, they require specialized the update of the knowledge, right? And then
Sure.
and they are so busy. For example, mental health clinic is overflow in the burden already, right? You may have heard that,
Yes.
right? In the United States, about 30% require the mental health screening, anything, right?
Yes.
But not much, right? It's very difficult to even have an initial engagement and then get the like appointment or whatever, right? Even you have a treatment is I heard that is one of the most like readmission to like admission to the clinic because of the treatment is not effective to other. So in that case, actually, that the 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 doctors and then psychiatric professionals have so busy they don't have a can time to update knowledge like for for example most update like a CBT method or whatever, right? And then this is
Sure.
a good like a tool can provide a knowledge or like update to them, right? Because whatever they
Exactly.
think of, oh, I need to find I found some specific patient today and then has something that's a symptom, some of the combination of the depression and stress, but I don't ever think about I never experienced, right? Can you find us the best recommended for you? Right? This is the one use case we can think about it, right? So not just the big hospital, but specialized clinic, and then as you mentioned, we are expert group, so we are very flexible. So we are willing to do to work with you, whatever that this framework can be helpful to you, right?
Exactly.
Anyone? So are we
I have a
seeing?
question.
Uh-huh. Yeah, please.
Yeah, firstly, thank you. It's been amazing presentation. I've got a question about data sensitivity. So I imagine there'll be different sorts classes of data in data sets, maybe knowledge or even patient, because users would be adding information like that. What kind of challenges have you faced on that type of data security of the sensitive type data? Because I imagine there would be certain users that shouldn't really be able to access or see certain information. So has there been any challenges on that? And
Oh,
what are
I
your
think that
thoughts
that's a
on
challenge for anyone that working in, and then if you are like just doing the internal database, and then you will follow the protocol, right? So actually that's not my task. That's the actually what I'm doing is designing to keep the data privacy. That's my design spec, right? And then my engineer has a experience, right? They have a lot of experience in care of the in different, especially healthcare is a privacy issue, right? So they follow the protocol, right? So for me, actually, I don't involve in actual implementation and engineering stage, and my partner did. So I do not have any experience, but I expect it because for me, I have a lot of the difficulty in the utilizing data for my AI project before, right? So yeah, that's one is a kind of thing that should be have a measure, and then I think that the expert will already know about the industry no measure to privacy measure, security measure that it can do, right? And then I think that I have a stack in the tech spec, and there is a layer that actually that keep that the privacy and security in the data like integration and then utilization whatever, right? Because there is a layer of the tech spec they already implemented. So I'm sure that it can be like addressed, and then it care about it. Okay, so it's time to finish. So I'd like to to let to understand that the kind of like ecosystem you can apply, and then as I mentioned that I call for proposal that whoever the want to like explore this opportunity just invite me, then we can discuss further, right? And then it's just let me know that what kind of stakeholders may be interested in this kind of topic. Okay. Okay, so thank you for attending today's webinar. So I hope to see you in my next webinars. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.